Welcome to another episode of our program U-Turn on Verbum TV. අපි වෙන දිනවලට මේ වැඩසටහන කරන්නේ සිංහල භාෂාවෙන් ඔබ දන්නවා. නමුත් අද දවසේදී අපට මේ වැඩසටහන කරන්නට වෙන්නේ ඉංග්‍රීසි භාෂාවෙන්. ඒට හේතුව තමයි මා ඉදිරියේ අද සිටින්නේ ශ්‍රී ලාංකීය ජාතිකයෙක් ලෙස ශ්‍රී ලාංකිකයෙක් නෙමෙයි ඉන්දියානු ජාතිකයෙක්. So I welcome you to this program. We will reveal your identity probably much later, but having shared your experience with me before the program, I was really inspired and I was really shocked to see how vast God's power and mercy and love is, and especially even in your life. We would like you to share with us, going backwards, what type of life you were living first in India, and then what was happening during your childhood and young age.
Yes, Father. Thank you for first welcoming me to this program. And yeah, my life, I was born in Tuticorin. I am the second in my family. I have an elder brother and a younger brother, so 3 brothers. And we were very devoted Catholic family. So my parents, we are all a good Catholic family. So I used to go as an altar boy in my early ages. Like as soon as I remember, earlier we used to go to church and come. I served the altar. I come home, we were given a coffee or anything just after reading a Bible verse. So whether I understand or not, we were brought up like that, and there was a deep desire at a certain age. When I remember, I was very young, around 7, like that. So I remember I used to tell everyone that I will become a priest, that I want to become a priest, and that was a desire from me. So it grew with me as I was growing, like till I was around going to 7th or 8th grade, as you say here, 7th standard in India. So as I remember, I used to tell them, still I wanted to become a priest. And at that age, I don't know, like my grandparents and parents didn't like it. And they had a thing, they were telling me, so they didn't actually want me to become a priest or something. So even my friends used to make fun of me. I used to take it as a compliment. So whenever someone comes and tells me something, I used to take it as a compliment. But then they told me something like, not to get it wrong, so that something happened, like they told something negative about certain things happening in the church.
Right.
So I felt like that actually it broke me. Inside me, something wanted to become a priest, that slowly started questioning whether is this real. So is everything wrong? Is everything a lie? So so when something we see in front of me, I was so inspired by the priests, and because I serve altar, I was having a thing like, no, this is not real. Maybe this is a lie. And slowly I didn't believe.
You drifted away from the faith.
That's true. Yeah, that's what happened. So. And when I was still growing, like I went to college, I was in a boys' school, so it's a Christian school. Though I wanted these things, slowly I started to come out of it, and I didn't realize those things. So when I came to college, I was moved to Chennai. I was from Tuticorin. I moved to Chennai. So when I came to Chennai, I remember in the college years, I was having like other faith. From my friends were from other faith. And when they were sharing their experience, and when I came to know about the way they live, the tradition and the culture, so I wanted to try those things. Certain things they were doing, so I just wanted to try. And I liked it. It was so logical for me. And certain things were scientific, what they do, things and all. So I started to follow that.
You mean to say, just to clarify to our viewers, you mean to say the other major religions that you find in India.
Yes.
So you were from a Catholic background, but then you drifted away and then tried out these other practices of the other major religions in India.
That's true. But still I was going for the
Right.
churches, Sunday masses.
Nominally, you were still
Yes.
a Catholic.
I was a Catholic, but still it's just an obligation. Everyone goes, I also go. So I was turning, actually I was from believing God, I was against God, not just thinking God is not there, but I strongly believe that it is a lie. And I started to even argue with some, telling that's not real. God is not real. It's like against him. I started arguing. And that was my college years. So that then I started to do some yoga practices and those things. So everything from inside of me wanted to believe that God is not real. And since I have to tell about my parents a little bit here. Since my father used to drink and he's a drunkard, so that had a wound in us, in three of us. So we didn't have a kind of, we don't drink, we don't smoke. So we were against it. So all three of us brothers, we don't do that. So so though God was not there, we normally speak about addictions and sin, like drinking and smoking. So since I didn't have it, I thought I'm a good person. So always I believed in me, I had a very good self-confidence, telling I'm a good person, I don't do anything wrong. So that was a kind of life that I was going through. So I never thought of anything like, even after college, when I doing these yoga practices and those Hindu things, I didn't actually really think that I am against anything. So I believed and I was going through. So that was the kind of life that I was going through. And once after that, I remember when I was coming to a part where I believed, I used to do some going deeper. I have conversations with the evil spirits. Those things also have tried, because just to have fun, just to know these certain things, I used to go do all these things with my friends. So that actually changed me from this point of view. I was not with God at all. So I was totally out of it and against it actually. So that was my earlier ages. Yeah.
And from that point onwards, you were trying other things, and you were, as you said correctly, you wanted something logical to happen.
Yes.
And you went you tried many other new practices of these religions.
Yes.
Now, did you really find solace and comfort in those, or you felt comfortable with whatever you were doing? And for how long were you going on like that, being away from God? So to say, my question basically is, so you were more or less okay with whatever you did, and you didn't feel guilty that you were away from God?
So that is a good question, Father. Like I believe, like from my college years is around 1997 till 2005, I was doing all kind of these things, like 7 years, 8 years.
Yeah.
I was totally into it, but the thing is, when I was doing it, it was thrilling, more than anything, exciting to know new things. I didn't have any kind of regret.
Yeah.
That I was strongly believing that I was doing something right. And so you have a time, like lifetime, once in a while, like you just get one time, and you just experience and explore these things. So that kind of mentality I was in. I didn't feel anything wrong. But then there was a certain point, like even when after this college years, I fell in love.
Right.
So my wife is a Sri Lankan, so that's how I am here in Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
So I fell in love, and I wanted that my career started. So I started working. My profession is video editor, and I was working in a TV channel.
Here in Sri Lanka?
Yeah, in Sri Lanka. So
you got married, you came here, settled here,
Yes.
got a job here.
Yes.
In a TV channel.
Yes, from 2005 I'm in Sri Lanka.
But you were still out of the whole
Yes.
picture of God. You were
Yes, though
totally
yes,
away
though,
from that.
Though my wife side, everyone believes in God and they go to prayer meetings, churches, I was against it. I just go there. Sometimes I remember before my wedding also, like I used to go to these prayer meetings with them. I just tell her, see, they are brainwashing you. It's not real. They are all doing something wrong and you are all falling for this. And I was totally against. I just was against these things. So when I go there also, I will just stare at the preacher or anyone who is there and thinking like I'm very self-confident. I was prideful actually. So I didn't have these kind of things. So I just believed in what I wanted and I was happy about what I was doing.
Yeah. And then at some point you had a serious issue of life and you had to leave the country, if I am not mistaken.
Yes.
In short, take us to that episode of your life.
So very truly, like when I was going through this phase of life, I just came out of the work. I just didn't want to work in the same office. So I wanted to have a shift of mind. I wanted to have something new experience. So I believed some of my friends, they wanted me to talk to, like they actually spoke to me and told certain things that we can do, and that I had to come out of the job so that they will send me some videos and I will do some editing online and I can do that. And so I didn't like the way I was working. I was like a kind of closed. My mind was closed at certain times, so I didn't like to work in the same place anymore. So 9 long years I worked there. So I wanted to just come out of it. I had my all my reasons and I told something and I came out of it. When I came out, I just realized that that I have to do something, and I believed in my friends. And that point, my friend actually didn't do anything right. Like they didn't. It was not trustworthy. So they didn't send what they had pointed me to. And once that didn't happen, the income part was dropped. I didn't have any income. So I was left alone. I didn't know what to do. Then I was questioning things. And then at that moment, I had a thing like I wanted to start something for business. So I started something new, like a phone shop. I had it. That didn't work for me. That point, when it didn't work, I just felt like it was not going as I wanted, and I had a lot of time, free time for me at home, because I was not going up and down. I was always home. So I fell into certain kind of addictions, which I just don't want to open it. There I had some of my friends who have I was speaking to them. Right. And they had shared certain things with me which I wanted to try out when I was having this free time, which was totally evil, I believe. Now I believe. Right. So I was doing some kind of practices which was not right. So that actually, when that was happening, I didn't realize that I was doing that, and it was a thrilling experience for me. So I took it in a way. At the point when I was caught for what sin I was doing. So that moment I didn't know what to do, where to turn. So I didn't have a God to go back, because I was not believing in God. This side, the whole family was against me when they got to know. Yeah. So I was all by myself. I didn't know what to do, and I was feeling very lonely and alone and shameful, sinful. Right. I didn't know what to do. So at this moment, I just thought, I'll cut the story short. I just thought, okay, this is not a place that I can live anymore. I'll go back to my country, like I go back to India, where I can stay with my mother. So I just went from here. I was staying with my parents there. Right. For 6 months. So it was like a death or life experience for me. I wanted to live, but I then didn't want to accept my fault. I didn't accept my fault. So I flew from here. I was in India. So there I was going through this tough time that everyone was blaming me. I didn't have anything. I didn't have a God to go. So I just wanted to know what is going to be my future, what is lying in front. So there, when I went there, I was totally by myself. So my mother was guiding me, she was helping me, but I was not listening to anyone. I was in my world. So I again went back to my friends. I was asking, what should I do to know what my future is? So some of them told me that there is a place that you can go and that astrology is there. You can just ask them, they will guide you. So then when I went there, I met few people over there. So those people who were, I met actually 3 persons in that place where I went. So they were telling me that the problem which I am going through is like a string hoppers, and that was the word that he used, and there is no solution now. And if you are, the word they told was, if you are alive, come back in a month's time, then we will see. So this time I remember the date, it was around the Lent, during Lent 2016.
And then from that point onwards, you were searching for something, or how did you meet God during this phase of life? Now you were back in India,
Yeah.
you were caught for something, but then even your mother was trying to take you back to the correct path, but you were still away. But at one point, you were even looking to commit suicide. Let's come to that pretty early in this, since we are also kind of running short of time a bit.
Yeah, sure. So that is where exactly, like, during that time I was in India, my hometown. I remember that dates and all. I was there. I didn't have anything else other than to know what is lying in future. I didn't get an answer which I was looking for. So then I thought, okay, this is going to be my end. And I didn't want to live because I was shameful. I was not able to forgive myself first. I was in full of shame because I was thinking that I was a good person. And suddenly when I fell into this kind of sin, I didn't know what to do. I didn't have anything else. So I thought, okay, this is my end. This is my end of the story. And I just thought, okay, that also I didn't want to die a painful death. So once my mother and everyone was there, this is exactly on my birthday, March 27th, 2016, I was taken to 5 churches as a pilgrimage. So even there, I was not having any connection with God. But then when I went to the church, I just told God, like, I don't know whether you can help me now, but I am already done now. So I just want a death which is very painless. I don't want to die with pain. So physically, I'm just telling physically, but this time I was lonely, all alone. I don't have anyone. So when that was happening, I used to go online. I was searching for some ways to die, and I've tried few, but God's grace, it didn't work. And at that point, one of my cousins, my family cousins from Sri Lanka, she sent me a link. My wife's cousin, she sent me a link. Since I was in YouTube, I clicked the link and it just came up, and I saw this the online message which was going from Community of the Risen Lord
here in Sri Lanka.
In Sri Lanka. So when I was listening to that message, like the first message, the first words that came out from the preacher he was telling, where will you go after you die? So it just spoke to me directly, and I didn't want to change anything. I was just going through. It was relating. I was just checking, and he was explaining some scientific things, telling God was like this, God created this and all, and he was going through the scientific just for me to get convinced, and I just believe. At that point, he told, after you die, you are going back to him. So are you ready?
Yeah.
And so that spoke directly to me. Like, I was trying something. Then I questioned myself, am I ready for this? Is it for me? So I am also trying this. What is he telling? Like, he's told, you're going back. If you're not ready, they're going to face more problems. So I just stopped everything. I couldn't sleep that night. I wanted to know whether God is real. So I didn't want actually to die and go into a deeper problem. So I already in a problem. Now I've stopped here. I don't want to go to a deeper problem. So I thought, okay, first let me find whether God is real. I didn't want to die. I was scared to die on that very night.
How did you try to find out that God is real? Now, if we are to say, this is probably the moment of your life change, that you were trying to find ways on YouTube, trying to find ways to die, ways to commit suicide. And it is so strange that you are on YouTube trying to find a way to commit suicide, but here is God bringing you a certain video of the community of the risen Lord and saying you, well, you are looking for death, but here am I looking for your life. And that is the point of change in your life. I believe this can be called the center of your life, the center of the change of your life. You were to commit suicide, but now here you are called by God to look for Him. I remember the Psalm number 139 where God says, you know, or the psalmist says, you know, search me, O God, and know me. So God was actually searching for you, although you were hiding from God. And we thank God for that. You continue from that point. How did you meet God from that YouTube video onwards?
So this is like exactly on, I told you on my birthday, this prayer that I made for all 5 churches. Exactly in 3 days, like Sunday was the Easter, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday was the message which was given to me. So that message, when I got the message, I was having all these like questions from inside of me was shattered. Like I didn't want to die, first thing that happened. And then what happened was, in the process of asking, like I didn't know to pray actually. When I told you, I went out of the faith and I was not, I was doing other things. I didn't know to say a rosary or any prayer for that matter, except for Our Father and Hail Mary. I didn't know anything else. So God, I was asking, like, if God is real, like, you teach me, you tell me what I should do. Now I don't know. I don't know, like, I want to know whether you're real, but I don't know from where to start. I didn't know. As I told you, I was all alone. I was not sharing my stories with anyone. I was all alone. Through the messages what I hear, I will put it in my phone. Wherever I go, I keep on listening to that to keep me understand like what is they are telling. And then I went to the previous messages. I used to hear those things just to get to know how to pray. And the very next, this one, they taught a message from Philippians 4:4, 5 keys, like how to pray and ask God and get things from God. So that was really helpful for me. What I told was, what I asked God was, I remember I told God, at that moment I didn't have a job, I didn't have anything else, I was all alone and no work, no money. So that was my immediate problem. So I asked God, it might look funny, but that is where God met me. I asked God whether, can you help me? I need money, can you give me money? And it was like a testing point. I just want to make it sure. I asked God whether you really give me money. I think in 1 or 2 days, I had someone giving me money. My brother gave me money through my mother, and I was wanting money. So I just got it, and I was thinking, I asked God, but I know the source where it comes from brother gave me. I wasn't sure whether it is a real from God and it's a coincidence, can be. So I again went when the money was over. So this happened in some time. I went back and asked God, I believe that I got money. So what if I get more? And I was specific about the amount. I asked him, can you give me this amount? And then God, within a day, like it just happened, one of my other uncle, he gave me that exact amount I gave.
So that was the beginning of a faith series of your faith journey.
That's true.
Where you told me that even on another time you were not very sure, you asked for a higher amount of money.
That's true.
And then it happened.
Exactly.
And then on the third time you asked again, probably about 10,000
Yes.
Indian rupees, you said. And that also God miraculously provided. And yeah, it's a matter of money, but then at the end what happened, God showed you that He is with you, isn't
Yes,
it?
He is very real. And
He's very real.
I still remember when the third time when I was just broken. I didn't have anything else to say. I just went to a church close by. I just fell flat on the floor. I just told, no one was in the church. I just telling God, I surrender. I felt very cheap for asking God for money. I just told myself, what a cheap person I am to ask something, a greater God. And I remember that I believed and I promised God, telling, you have given me this life, the second life. And I truly believe it's not about other things, but then I don't know what to do, what else to do in the future. So I just told Him that I need to walk in this path, but you be my guide.
Yeah.
You give me what I should do and everything. And I told Him, from here, I have to walk in your path and I have to serve you. That was all in my mind, that's all.
And then you came back to Sri Lanka, you said, and then today your life is completely changed. I would like to tell our viewers now who you are. Here with me is Johns Fernando, am I right?
Yes.
Johns, even though you are an Indian, you are here in Sri Lanka for years, as your wife is also Sri Lankan. So we consider you as, our own brother. And it was amazing how God led you from a point where you completely drifted away from God, but then here you are. Today I believe you are full-time committed to the Lord in some way. Maybe just to end the program, you can share with our viewers what you exactly do now, and probably a message to leave with our viewers.
Yes, Father. So now I am working full-time in a Divine Retreat Center in Katana, Colombo. So that I am doing the broadcasting of the videos and all the broadcasting things, the video session I am running it. It's God's grace. So I believe that where God touched me was from a YouTube
video.
And then now it is connected, and His ministry that He has blessed me with and He has used me with is using as an instrument.
As an instrument.
Just to lead and send the links. So when every day when I'm sending a link, I even just say a small prayer like, Lord, let this link touch many.
Yeah, just as you were touched by a YouTube link.
Yes.
And God has brought you exactly the point where you met Him.
Yes.
And isn't that amazing how God has worked through you, in and through you. Johns, I can't thank you enough for being with us. I know it's a short time, that your story probably is not a story for half an hour, it's a story for half a year, I would say, with all the experiences that you have gone through. But then it was so relishing, refreshing, that God is to be praised through your story. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
And we hope to see you once again, probably with another episode of your experiences here, especially to our English viewers.
Thank you.
So thank you very much for being with us. Even though the program today was in English, I am sure many viewers who are used to our program kept on watching the story, the amazing story of our friend Johns, how God has turned him. It was a complete U-turn, so to say. ඉතින් ස්තුතියි ඔබ හැම කෙනෙක්ටම. අපි නැවතත් දවසක U-turn වැඩසටහනකින් හමු වෙමු. ඔබ සැමට ජෙසු පිටයි.